churches. I hope you're hungry. I hope you're willing to risk it all. I hope you have nothing left and watching others fall. It's all on you. Don't live into the churches. It's all on you. Don't live into the churches. Don't live into the churches. Don't live into the churches.
We're here with another episode of Don't Leave to the Judges. I'm here once again with Patty Broken Skull. Patty.
Yeah. There is no music, and there never will be again. Snoop Dogg has finally got upset with us. That dude is in the WWE Hall of Fame. That's fucking crazy. We were talking about some stuff. Obviously, WWE wrestling really off mic, but that's for another day, folks. On to the real stuff. I really don't have news, and I'm not seeing a lot. I did see somebody was coming at Colby Covington, which is just a strange tactic at this point. Like, what's that going to do for you? There is this antitrust lawsuit with payments totaling over $237 million paid to fighters. Something going on with that, of course. This is a big deal. Dana's still being a bitch about paying these athletes, and that sucks. Because what you're going to do is the incentive for young fighters to be a part of this organization will not be there anymore. And that's more important than the money you're losing now. Do you want a future for this fucking company? Or do you want PFL to be the one that everyone's going to watch? I mean, make a choice, dude, because Netflix has got a card. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? If you're a businessman to any degree, you know that. You know all of these other organizations exist. So to sit here and constantly have these motherfuckers bitching about fighter pay, somebody recently said it was 12 to show, 12 to win. That's fucking nuts. For just prelim guys, that's nuts, dude. Yeah. That's still 24 grand for a fight. If you could pull that all the way off, plus you could get another 25 for getting a finish, you're walking home with fucking 50 grand. Right? That's a paycheck. That's enough to get you through a month's worth of living and live.
You got to pay your whole team.
Yes, everything else. There's so much other shit that people don't think about. The casual person will say, yeah, that's a lot of money. And it's like, dude, the training that they went through, the coaches that get paid to fly out there, now they have to pay for their coaches. Not just the coach gets to come, but everybody else they got to pay for. Yep. They got to pay their own way. They got to drive to the fucking arena themselves. It'd be so funny if you start seeing guys that are coming out with their team and they're not dressed in the same uniform because they couldn't afford the $75 shorts and t-shirt. Like, fucking, I'm not buying the fucking Reebok shit anymore. I don't care about Venom. I'm coming in my streets, man, carrying the bucket with ice. You know what I mean? It's gross, dude. Because you look at, once again, talking about WWE, we've seen athletes like this. I just don't feel like in WWE, this has been a conversation where somebody has necessarily gotten a lot of publicity for talking about pay. I feel like they've been compensated fairly most of the time that this fucking business has existed. And I bring that up because this is TKO. This could, if TKO themselves wanted to increase fighter pay, they probably could do it over Dana White's head. I think so. I think they have that power to say, we're going to give them more money. We own you guys. You work for me, Dana White. That's what I would say. And I sent Sam a clip of a very well-known YouTuber, millions and millions of followers, Penguin Zero, Charlie, talks about a lot of shit. Most of you guys have probably heard of him, but it's rare that you see the guy talk about MMA. And he himself said in the video that he just got back into watching this shit. And what he can't stand is this Dana White character and the fighter pay stuff. And I'm like, this is exactly what you and I have talked about even before Paramount. We thought Paramount was going to be, okay, let's bridge the gap. Let's figure out the real issue. Let's give these guys, if it's that big of a deal that you're not making this amount of money, now you have more of an incentive. Now you don't even have to get the bonus and be the best fight on the card, the best finish on the card. Now just get a finish, dog. Submission, KO, any of that. And even then, we still ran through how many shitty cards, man. Yeah. That's my main issue. And also how much money they're worth. They've been sold 3 fucking different times for billions of dollars, and they still somehow can't figure out how to compensate the athletes properly. Because a lot of times, and Sam will probably agree with this, the best fights are the ones that aren't even in the main card.
Yeah, for sure. And that octagon just gets filled up with so much sponsorship.
Right.
And
more of a reason.
You're watching a fight, and somebody gets punched in the face, and Ram trucks, they're built tough type of shit. Just out of nowhere, out of the fucking blue, just bam. Put up a big Ram thing on the screen. The ticket prices are insane.
And then give them money to get your name in the middle of the
They're just getting revenue all the way around. Hell, they sell that canvas afterwards too.
Well, what do they say? The rich get richer. But it's like you could make your athletes. You again, if one of us had somebody that we knew that was a young guy up and coming and trying to get into this sport, and they find out, oh, well, the pay is so dog shit to start with, what is even the point? But what have we said in the last episode? You get that motherfucking UFC run on your fucking resume, you fighting anywhere. So then there's the money. There's the money. Yeah, you made fucking 25, 50 grand for 2 fights in the UFC, but then because you were a UFC fighter, you get main card money over at PFL. You get main card money on Bellator. You get main card money at BKFC. You become a champion like Mike Pitt. You see what I'm saying? So depends on who's arguing, Sam. Is what I say.
And
It
plus
depends.
the UFC roster is so fucking large, you might not fight but once a year.
We've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. But also, is that because they're not willing to pay for this person to get citizenship or priority to be in the country to fight on a card that isn't in their home fucking country? Is it paying for the coaches of their team to come over? What? Because if that's even something that they bring up about not wanting to pay for other people on the team, like there's no reason that Chris Curtis shows up and Sean Strickland needs to be there, right? I get that, but also maybe he does. Maybe that helps Chris. Whatever. At the same time, it's like, are you really that hard up for money that fucking couple grand or whatever to this person being able to fly comfortably is a problem? Couldn't you just get private jets for the fuck? I mean, it's insane. The arguments are valid on both sides a little bit, but it is sports entertainment, and to make a motherfucker want to entertain and risk his life, the money's got to be there, dude. Why not 100 grand per fight? Here's my argument. At least make it better than the WNBA. Right? There's more risk. At the very least, the risk is worth the money.
I don't know. If you're a white person that's popular in the WNBA, there's a big risk for you to play.
That is true. Unless you're like a Norwegian 7'8" girl. Otherwise, you're getting smashed.
You might get taken out.
Nonetheless, it's still like there is an incentive now where you can make more money. So that should drive fighters. But does that drive in new talent? I don't know. It drives in a different kind of fighter, I think. A guy who's like, well, I could just smash these dudes. Go in there and get that extra 25K every fight. Get out of there in 40 seconds. What an easy job.
Yeah, but of course that's not going to happen with... I mean, when you work your way to the top, it gets harder and harder to do that.
Sure.
So.
But that's why it sucks that the money in the beginning isn't enough for you to that in itself be an incentive to keep working to get better, to have the means to buy. Because look at like guys like Eddie Hall. He's a giant bodybuilder turning into a fucking MMA fighter. Well, he already has plenty of funds to do so. Why shouldn't he be good? You know what I'm saying? That's the argument I could make there. Why shouldn't he be good? He's already got the means to do so. It's no different than being an offspring of a fighter before. You think he doesn't have a fucking hypo whatever tank in his house like Joe Rogan? He's got it. He's already a fighter. He paid for that a long time ago. Now you have the use of it.
I don't know. Their dad might not have made much money in the UFC.
That is true. That is true.
All right, man. So you ready to get into this card that just took place?
Absolutely.
All right. So this card, it started off with a female fight. Bruno Brazil got put on her ass all 3 rounds and pretty much held to the canvas. Got her ass beat. What is she, 11-8 now? It's time for her to hit the road, as far as I'm concerned. Ricky Simon.
I would say,
go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. Ricky Simon, Simone, whatever.
Yeah.
Adrian Yanez. This was highly the same guys. These are just, I don't know why I said highly, but this was the same guy fighting the same guy. And I think it was a fun fight. It was a fun fight to watch. But again, it kind of shows me that neither one of these guys have really improved since their last time being in here, or else you would have attempted something different. Because what? Draw?
Yeah, draw. I thought Yanez won the first round. Now, he had a good first round, but he got knocked down at the very end of it. I thought he ran rounds 1 and 3, but whatever. The judges, they're the judges. You know, it's kind of weird. They never like change up. Very rare they change up these damn judges anyway, but it is what it is.
I also wonder, are they there? Because if it's the same ones every time, I just imagine they're fucking zooming in just like us with a fucking on screen.
They never leave.
There's a 27, 29 for sure. Sal Diamato's got glasses on that fucking make
the
it
same judges because they're the cheapest. They don't want to pay anybody.
Absolutely.
Navajo Sterling, Bruno Lopez. Man, this was the ass whipping. This is Navajo Sterling. Just the referee let Lopez get killed too.
He really did. He really did.
God.
Like when the commentators start noticing it where they have to say something, that's when the viewer is already beyond that. We're like, okay, it's good. He's done. It's done. It's done. And then the commentators are like, yeah, this looks to be going on too long because they're even like a few seconds behind us on like, we got to try to be biased a little bit. Let the fight go on. Let the ref do his job. We're at home like hitting the TV like, bro, it's good. He's done. Cold.
Yeah, I don't want to see anybody get fucking destroyed. This
is what
I want to see people get destroyed. I don't want to see them get their life ended on TV.
Sure, exactly. We want to see them able to fight again. Absolutely. What I like though is they set it up so perfect before the fight. They were like, Navajo's been getting shit from people being like, I thought you were a knockout guy. And then he comes in, he's like, ta-da. Like I was just, let me do my thing, guys. I was just taking my time. They said the more time that he had in the octagon definitely made him a better fighter. And here we are seeing this nice finish, sort of like you said, just a full beatdown. What's next, dude? What's next?
Yeah, I don't know, but whatever it is, we'll be.
I'll tell you this. I feel the same way about this next fight, though. What's next, bro?
Casey O'Neill.
Good God.
She's back, apparently. I mean, she looked great. She looked great.
Was phenomenal.
And this next fight. All right, so I'm going to tell you, I've said this before on this show. I don't want to see two heavyweights go to a fucking decision. I just don't want to see that. So I watched these fights on Sunday. I didn't even watch them Saturday. I went to bed early. I fell asleep. Whatever. I fell asleep during the first fight. But anyway, all right. Tabora, he got taken down in the first round and pounded on. So when I saw this was happening, I hit the little 10-second skip. Same thing happening, 10-second skip. I skipped like 4 minutes of the first round. All it was Fortune on top of Tabora. All right.
Right.
Round 2 happens. It's pretty even. Round 3 happens. Fortune, I believe he had a takedown. Whatever. And then the fight ends, and I notice DC standing behind Bruce Buffer waiting to interview the winner, which I thought was unusual because it went to a decision. And after you said, hey, if the fight goes to a decision, maybe they shouldn't even interview these people, it seems like that pretty much came true right after you said that. I mean, it's very rare that happens these days, unless it's like a total beatdown decision.
Sure.
So DC standing there waiting I was like, why is he in there waiting to interview the winner? But anyway, and Bruce Buffer speaks and he goes, hey, 29-28, 29-28, 30-27, Tabora. Dude, I fucking paused the shit. I wrote out, how did he win the first round? He was on his back getting pounded on. Right. What the fuck? I hit the play button. And what got me is DC stood there, didn't fucking move. This man was sitting there to interview Fortune. So I think he was puzzled. If there was a mistake made, which there was a mistake made, obviously, why would DC stood there? If he didn't know the results, he would have went and interviewed the winner like he was sending to do. But he stood in the corner, didn't fucking say anything. So we had nothing but fucking silence on our end for 30 seconds, 45 seconds before Bruce Buffer, a mistake was made. I mean, Fortune's fucking leaving. They had to bring him back, and then they re-announced the fights. And then DC came and interviewed Fortune.
So weird. The conspiracies continue. You know? Have you noticed that the sound's been cutting out, too? Some of the fights?
Some of the fights I had the Paramount. One of these fights, though, like most of the first round, I just had the Paramount fucking blue thing pop up. Like, I've seen enough fucking ads. I don't need to see Paramount. I'm watching on fucking Paramount, my friend. But anyway.
I find it to be a little bit strange. Like, God damn it. Is it me? Is there something on my end that's fucked up? And then you're like, no, they just cut something's going on their end with the audio. How? Paramount has still not figured this out? It's weird.
Let's say Tabora was declared the winner like he was. Wouldn't DC walk over there and start to interview him?
You would think.
Why would he just stand there still? This man knew the results. He was sending there to, hey, go interview Fortune. His hometown's not far away from here. That's what the fuck happened. And he went in there and like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Fortune didn't win. No. Anyway, but he did win, but it's whatever.
Notice the little things, guys. We're not just looking at how many strikes the guy has. We're looking at why the fuck is DC standing.
It was odd, man. It was odd. It almost made me think like people because I've seen people online that say, hey, this whole thing's set up like like wrestling.
I know.
And that's one of the things that'll fuel that conspiracy.
Oh, exactly. And you got to make yourself even wonder, is like, is that on purpose? To keep the talk happening? God damn it. Then the rabbit hole just keeps digging itself. Anyways, Tofik Musayev versus Ignacio Bahamondes, because I knew Sam was going to nail those names.
Well, you're skipping Hooper,
Nah,
man.
it doesn't matter. We don't got to talk about it. Poor Chase Hooper, dude.
Chase Hooper.
No, yeah,
God.
it does suck, man. That was insane.
Every time we think his stand-up's improved, it's not improved.
Not to the level that it should be fighting a guy with real power. Fighting a guy who's going to look for other shit besides just a punch, you know? And Lance Gibson, you know, he put on a show, dude. It was phenomenal, but also like, damn, Chase was doing his thing again, I thought. And then this guy comes along, waxes his ass. Next, he really hurt him, dude. This is the first time we've seen Chase like, hey, ref, get in there. But yeah, no, Ignacio, Tofik. What do you do with Ignacio now, man? What is that? 2 losses in a row?
You know, man, this fight could have easily went the other way because he had a takedown that was there, and when Tofik grabbed the cage and stayed up, that really like fucked him because he went down on the bottom, and then Tofik fucking destroyed him. I mean, he was a bloody mess after that, and this man kept fighting. I know. I always say I hate to hear like, oh my God, you talk about how tough someone is because they're getting their ass beat. I mean, this guy was bloody as hell. He's in there trying to fight. And yeah, after that, he was kind of done. But I don't know.
Well,
I like to see him fight again. I don't want to see him cut.
Of course not. I mean, this is a guy who could easily be a star. I mean, I think both guys have that potential. I just think that, again, like you said, there's a few mistakes made. I bet if they go 10 times, it's probably 5-5. This is a tough matchup for both guys. And mistakes were made that led to the other guy winning.
Yeah, I didn't even mention the headbutt.
Tafik's what, 20-22 and something now?
Yeah, 23 and 6 may have improved 6. Yeah, he headbutted Ignacio also.
Which was a legal move not long ago, guys. Let's not forget this. They used to be able to bite each other. No, what do you got next? So the Terrence McKinney, what do you think?
Kyle Nelson, and this was a blitz just like we thought it would be. Terrence McKinney came in here 24 seconds. Kyle Nelson only landed 1 strike the whole fight. And, you know, at the end of this fight, Kyle Nelson took his gloves off, but it was never addressed as far as I know that I'm guessing he retired? I don't know. It's a big secret. Whatever. He probably was about to retire, and the UFC was like, wait a minute, we need that guy. We need our Austin Lane for the lightweight division. We can't have him retire. We need him to make someone... You know what you do? You have Ignacio fight him next, and then Ignacio looks like a fucking superstar. Oh my God, he still got it. Look how he just beat the shit out of Kyle Nelson.
If it was that easy, but chances are Kyle beats Ignacio, and then it's all fucked up again. Like, you throw them fucking something easy, and it doesn't go their way. Just like this next one kind of went that way. I think both of us were leaning towards Mansour, of course. You know, the kid's a nasty athlete. And Belgoroy, I'll learn it eventually, but he was just so much more accurate.
Oh my God, and much bigger, too.
I think he was like, to me, he was seen more like an actual fighter. Yeah. Whereas Malik, not that Malik's not a fighter, but there's no specific stance that he's always in. There's no specific thing you can look for him to do. Where this guy's Usuri's hands were just crispy, dog. He was in there, he was striking from everywhere and almost not missing. I can't even tell you the numbers. I'm sure Sam has them, but it was wild.
Oh, 107 total strikes to 16. But man,
what was his? Let's see, 107.
He was 107 of 170.
That's great.
That fucking kick, man, my God, and he killed him with knees in the clinch too. Oh my God, we haven't seen somebody in a while that put on that. Used to guys were perfect that clinch and knee the shit out of you, and this guy was doing it.
Yeah, and like you said, he was bigger, and you're almost like, how was that possible? Because Malik is such a large dude, so muscular, and then you just see this other dude that's bigger than him. This middleweight division's been put on notice, especially because of the main fight. You know, it's tough now. What do we do?
Julian DeRosa, Larry Douglas. So this is so wild because the fight started, and they're both kind of hitting each other. And Arosa goes to clinch this guy, and this guy was like, "Holy shit!" It was almost like, "Holy shit! I don't want this happening." And he just started swinging like a fucking wild man. I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
In my head, all I could think is that maybe this was coached to him. He's like, if he tries to grab you, just go ham, go ape shit, freak out, dude. Because I mean, it worked. You know,
It worked. He got the knockout.
It worked. And again, Julian's not a guy that can't be knocked out, but he's a tough matchup. He's hard to figure out. So maybe again, if he tries to grab you in a clinch, dude, swing everything you got. 1 inch punch his ass. Do something. I hated this next fight. We can skip it completely.
Well, I will mention this fight, the next fight, there was 4 total strikes thrown between both guys. Only 1 strike landed.
Supposed to believe now
Between
Michael
both
Chiesa was a superstar? Was Michael Chiesa a superstar? The most impressive thing he's done in his career was get hit with the fucking thing, a trolley from Conor McGregor on a bus.
Yeah.
That's it. Outside of that, Michael Chiesa's career has been fucking boring. I mean, he's had some all right wars when he was back looking like a caveman, but ever since I finally started paying attention to his inability to actually punch or throw a punch, and you've been fighting this long, and why showing yourself boxing on the pads? Because you don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't do that in the octagon at all.
And Nico Price retired too, guys. He had a big career in the UFC. Oh, well. They just forgot all about him.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter, dude.
And then this next fight fucking blew my mind.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
You have to go on Michael for a second. Why? I mean, it's already bad enough I said that his most important thing in his career was getting hit with a trolley. Like, clip it. But again, he did have some good wars. There were some nasty fights in there for a second because he would just he was one of the first guys that could just he would take a fucking beating forever. Even he would be trying for submissions, getting pounded, and he'd come up all bloody, and he'd eventually get a rear naked choke. You're like, all right, cool. Now, but you don't. That's not a champion. You don't put. I mean, they did put him in a commercial, which is strange. But what I hated was they made us sit there and watch the fucking thing with him. That dude, what? You weren't. Oh my god, you're not that guy. That's what bothered me the most. Is like, what is this? A storied career? Did he ever hold a title one time? Get the fuck out of here, then. What are we talking about, Anthony Smith? Bizarre, dude. I don't give a shit. Michael Chiesa retired or Nico Price. Goodbye. What do you mean? You'll be fighting in BKFC in about 6 weeks, bro.
That's
if you don't
funny.
keep
Just fight each
commentating
other.
position, you need that money.
They fight each other in BCF. Fight each other bare knuckle since they didn't throw any strikes in this fight.
Look, Michael Chiesa versus Mike Perry, BKFC. I'll fucking watch it. What do you mean? That
would
works.
be funny. That'd be funny as shit, though. We
He
didn't
has
throw
to box.
any strikes in our last fight. If you want to see strikes thrown, you got to pay more.
That's how they bill it. They're like, fucking see hands get thrown. You're like, what, in a boxing match? And they're going bare knuckle? Let's do it. Dude.
This is wild. Wild.
Listen, me and my girl saw this one sort of happen live. I had to make sure that she saw it because this was gross, dude. This was bad. Because the first thing you see is Macy's out on her feet. She sits her down. She hits her again and then immediately takes the neck.
I mean, so quick, too.
All I could think is that she was on the exhale, too. Well, and what that means is like, you know how you hold your breath before you go underwater? That's what you instinctively do when somebody will snag a choke. You're going to try to get something in your lungs, right? If she's on the exhale, that's already gone. So she's already dead-eyed. Then she's being suffocated. And then she sits there dead-eyed. Why were they... Dude, they straight up cut the cameras. They went to a commercial break, which was just a blue screen that said commercial break in progress. That's not a commercial, bitch. This is just... Because again, in my head, I'm like, production's got to be like, hey, enough. Because then also Alexa Grasso was sitting there on her knees, like looking at her while she's fucking... I'm like, come on, bro. Because she tried to go after the referee, then went flat, and the ref's kind of like, it was weird looking. Alexa, this is what I tried to say to my girl too. I was like, bro, this is... Alexa Grasso doesn't even look like a fighter. She looks like a girl. That's it. She just looks like a lady, right? You see on this, you would not think about it at all.
No.
And bro, that was predatory. The way she fucking tagged her, saw she tagged her, hit her again, and then took the neck. When's the last time you saw somebody do that, Sam? It's been so long that somebody has, even in the men's division, where somebody gets tagged and they finish with a submission that clean. When's the last time? I
Yep.
can't even think, dude. It's either they finish with a straight up submission or a knockout. They don't ever clean because she was like Josh Koscheck. She was sitting midair, arms up, and she took that other shot, started to fall, and she took the dude. It was I watched it. I put on replay. I was like, I gotta watch this again. That was because then even the replay themselves was like, this is gnarly, bro. Macy might never fight again
I mean,
because
she's
there's no fucking way, Sam. She knows what happened.
yeah, she might fight again, but she might not ever be the same. So,
That dude, that is so scary to think of too. Like, knock me out, fine, but don't knock me out then choke me.
she
The
was.
fuck are you doing?
I was
Even
just
the
impressed by
dude,
how quick
damn,
she grabbed
dude,
that choke. Like, bam! I mean, she was fucking on
the most destructive thing about it is there's no fucking way to tap out.
it. Yeah, yeah.
So the ref had to stop
It
it,
was done. I mean,
bro. It was so much nastier than the next fight. It was so much nastier. I'll say that right out the gate. This was not vintage Adesanya, and I'm mad that I posted the last episode on YouTube as like fucking the return of Stylebender, as if he's gonna do something significant. I didn't make it out to be that way during the episode, but at the same time, you're kind of looking for it. Like, man, come on, here's your opportunity. Redeem yourself. This is a new kid he's looking for. He's hungry. Why would you not take out the wolf, man? You got to. And it just didn't work. I mean, Joe is all over him. He's so fucking big too. You forget how big he is until you see him. You're like, Jesus Christ, that's a big 85er, bro. That's a 205er easy. And he's walking around and he's so shredded at 185. He's fast. His hands are massive, and when he connects, it's all power. It don't matter where he hits you. It's gonna hurt. And Izzy was just trying to. I don't think he ever got the time.
I
He
just
never
think
really figured out the time.
if Izzy was back in his prime, or someone else fights Joe Pfeiffer that has some speed, and he fights like this, they're gonna be able to eat him up because he's like rearing back to throw his fucking punches, and he's throwing with all his goddamn might.
Heavy. Yeah,
He's
he's
like
just trying to
throwing
take
with
your head.
everything he has.
Right.
So if
And
someone
Izzy's
can
not-
avoid
he's-
that,
Izzy's like a Max Holloway in his striking, where he's tagging you with a bunch of shots and they're not all power. He's if he throws the power, he's already there to block it because that dude's made of stone, granite. Fucking some Joe Pfeiffer's he's a thick boy. Like, I guess you would really the comparison would be like him against Costa. That's the only other guy that I could think with like that kind of a physique in 885. That's big muscles. That would be a tough. Because I don't think he got tired either. How far did this go? Yeah, 2 rounds, almost 3. I don't think Pfeiffer really got tired. I don't think Izzy ever really got off though. I don't think he ever actually got those shots like we would hope an MVP would. You know, that style of like blitzing, get a combination off, dude. Make him worried about kicks and punches and maybe even a takedown. Fuck around. Just didn't get there for me.
yeah, and then he gets on the microphone and talks about how he almost killed himself a couple weeks ago. Man, I don't want to hear that shit.
Shit. I mean, that's as bad as like fucking Bryce Mitchell trying to tell us about Jesus. Like,
Yeah.
relax, bro. Save that for save that for your fucking Twitter.
Oh, man, yeah, I don't want to hear about somebody
Yeah, fuck that.
contemplating
good.
suicide.
That's
and
not
shit.
you're not inspiring. I mean,
No.
so dark. And that's not like kayfabe type shit. This is a real guy, not a real fight. Yeah, no, it was almost over last week when I was in that fucking Ramada Inn, fucking, Dallas or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Yeah, man, what do we got on this next card? You ready for that?
Now we're back in Vegas, and I'm ready for the next card, but I am not ready for the next fight, and I'll explain why. Because they added a fight yesterday, man, these motherfuckers. So, yeah, this first fight I have not researched at all, really. You got a lightweight bout, Kaya Kamaka the third versus Dakota Hope. Kamaka is 31 years old. This guy was in the UFC back in 2020. He was 1-2-1. He also fought in Bellator PFL, and since April of 2020 of last year, he's been fighting in Tough Enough, which always gets me every time I see it. He's 3-1 there. Who did he lose to in Tough Enough? I don't know. Hope, he's 29 years old. He's 11-1. His last fight was just in February at Fury 116, where he looked great. He got a first round knockout win over Mauricio Gomez. So this is, I think, Hope. They want Hope to shine here.
Well, guess what? I hope he does. Got it, dude. We're done.
Women's bantamweight bout next, like the usual suspects. Elise Pereira versus Haley Cowan. Pereira 6-1, 4 knockout wins. She's only 20.
Is there Hold on. Let me, because this is funny, and we got to put this in the podcast.
The answer is no.
There's nothing above any of the letters in the first name of Pahara,
No.
because that to me says Alice.
Alice sounds good to me. Alice.
What are you saying?
You know I'm gonna fuck something up. When I said the answer is no, I thought you were gonna say, "Hey, is that Pereira's sister?" And I was gonna say no. Anyway, but she's
It's like her fucking first name's Alice. What were you trying to say? Elise? Some shit? Like,
Elise.
is there
Elise.
some weird thing over her E
I
or
don't
something?
know, man.
Anyways,
I'm
Alice
leaving all
versus
this in.
Haley, Sam, as
There you
easy
go.
as it can get.
But anyway, she fought on the independent scene against girls. It's got even record. She came in the UFC. In her last fight, lost a split decision against Montserrat Rendon. She couldn't get Rendon down. She looked terrible on her feet. Cal, when she's 34, she's 7-4. She's 0-2 in the UFC. She had a split decision win on the Contender Series. I think this is the girl they talked about was like a ballerina, some shit. This will be a split decision. Who cares who wins?
Perfect.
Azamat Bakayev versus Trayshawn Gore. All right,
Interesting.
man. Gore, he's 6-4. He's looked fucking awful. I mean,
Sure. That's why it's interesting, because I don't know what the matchup here is for. Like, who's this for? Is for Azmat to just crush a guy?
well, all right. So Azamat is 20-3, 8 KO, 8 sub wins. He's won his last 8 fights until his last fight, where he lost by decision.
Sure.
He faced a former kickboxer, couldn't get him to the ground. So this is the thing. This guy has 8 KO wins, 8 sub wins. Every time we see him, he's looking to take somebody to the ground, though. That's the only thing he's got to fucking watch out for. He needs to stay on his fucking feet, because the only way Trayshawn Gore is going to beat you if you stick your fucking neck under his arm and he's going to try to rip your whole neck off. Other than that, should be good to go.
Should be good to go.
All right, Diana Barboza, Melissa Gatto. Barboza 8-4. She's lost 2 of her last 3. She's got no power. She's always gonna try to get the fight on the ground and just be a standing duck. Gatto 9-2. She only fights like once a year. See, how did she afford to even be in the UFC? Anyway, after losing 2 fights in a row, she looked great in her last fight against Tamiris Vidal. She was getting beat up all fight, and then 3rd round she pulled off a TKO when she hit her in the chest. But that was all the way back May 2024. She usually comes out aggressive. I think she'll win, but who knows? Barboza, when I talked about the feminine fighters or whatever, this Barboza is like, she's on the far end of that.
Absolutely. Which means she might be a problem. This next one, if I'm correct, Lando Venata versus Darius Flowers. I have not seen Lando Venata. That last name is tough for me now, but I remember this guy. He had a crazy finish at somebody, and that kind of made him go viral in the UFC. And then it was just like, he's fine. It was nothing, also tough division, you know what I mean? But Darius Flowers, talk to me.
All right,
Got
so
some tattoo on his chest.
this is the one I like 2 weeks ago or so. I sent you a screenshot of what I was gonna say, which I never do. But I said this has to be one of the worst fights ever booked in the UFC. Venata 12-7. All right, he's lost 3 of his last 4 fights. His last fight was in April 2023. His last win was in May of 2021, and that was by a split decision.
I have to ask.
He hasn't finished anyone since February 2019.
Did he go anywhere after his UFC stint? Or was this all in the UFC, and then he's just been sitting around waiting for a contract?
He's, I'll tell you right now.
I feel like he's been sitting and waiting,
He's been in the UFC.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
He's been on such a shit fucking tear. Like, he's been doing poorly. They weren't booking him. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere else. And then here we are. Wow.
And Flowers isn't any better. So Flowers is 12-8. He's 0-3 in the UFC. He had a win on the Contender Series. That was all the way back August 2022. This fight's insane. Shouldn't even happen.
This is one of those, Sam, that
Someone's
you.
gonna miss weight. That's what's gonna happen. We're not
So
gonna see this fight.
here's what you do though: you sell this fight by putting a stipulation on it. It's like a Hell in the Cell match, like Last Man Standing, chairs. You know, something extra. One must leave town. You got to move, dude, from wherever you live to
This
a new
fight makes
city.
no
We picked the dust. That type of shit. Otherwise, it's like I'll go take a shit in the middle. I don't give a. You know what I mean? This means nothing for either guy at all, and it's skippable as fuck.
All right, so we got Alexandra Costa versus Stuart Nickel. All right, Costa, 14-5. He's been knocked out 3 times. He had a split decision on the Contender Series. He didn't get signed, and here he is. He's now 2-3 in the UFC. He knocked out Kevin Borojas back in 2024, but he got knocked out in his last fight. Nickel, he's 8-2. He looked terrible. He's looked terrible in the UFC. He's lost both of his fights. I'm thinking Costa pieces this guy up.
Dude, I can't. I'm sorry to go off on these tangents, Sam, but I know you're a wrestling guy. So in these moments when I see a guy like Stewart with that name, he to me is like a guy who's like a manager for a girl diva or some shit. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't act. He's so small. His name's Stewart, bro. I mean, how many guys? He also kind of looks like Cub Swanson. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Swanson.
These are the things I think of while Sam sits there and writes all this data down. I'm like, this guy's face and names. That's what I bring, guys. That's what I bring.
Jose Delano versus Robert Ruchola. Well, Delano 16-3, 4 KO 5 sub wins. He mostly fought at LFA. This is his UFC debut. He's won his last 4 fights. His last fight was a decision win on the continues. He beat the guy up for all 3 rounds. All right. Ruchola, he's from Poland. He's 11-2, 3 KO, 3 sub wins. He made his UFC debut in his last fight. He lost a decision against William Gomez. He spent a lot of fight trying to get Gomez to the ground. He didn't have any success. He's a former KSW champ, the Polish organization. This next fight, we got heavyweights. All right. And I'm not going to be able to say this name because you got to put the accent in. Guilherme Pat.
I mean,
you got to roll the tongue and shit. I can't do any of that. Versus Thomas Peterson.
yeah, that's just the most simple white guy name ever. Thomas Peterson. But he's kind of scary, right?
No, I don't think so. Pat 6-0, 4 KO wins. Is going to have a 4-inch height, a 7-inch reach advantage. After fighting guys with losing records, he made his UFC debut in December against Alan Fry. And after a very slow fight with little action, round 3 bloodied up Fry, won with a bunch of elbows, won by decision. Peterson is 10-4, 7 KO wins, 3 KO losses. He's lost 2 of his last 3. He's just been average in the UFC, and I just hope this is not a no-action heavyweight fucking fight, because I hate those. Pat has to win. There's no way for Patterson to go.
Yeah, he's about as memorable as his name, though. I thought he was one of those younger, better versions of a Josh Parisian, you know? Stepping stool for the next guy. We might see that. Now, talk to me about Tommy McMillan, because we remember him from the Contender Series. Boy, does he have a look.
And he's fighting Manello Zuccini. Some Italian guy. Some guy from fucking Italy.
Straight up.
Tommy McMillan. 9-0, 3 KO, 5 sub wins. He's going to have a 4-inch height, a 6-inch reach advantage. And yeah, he got pieced up in the first round of that Contender Series fight, and then he walked the guy down in rounds 2 and 3. And one judge even had his first round 10-8 for the other guy, but he ended up winning that. And this Manello guy is Manalo is 11-4, 9 KO wins, 2 KO, 1 sub losses. We haven't seen him since his UFC debut back in September 2023. He got destroyed by Morgan Chershi. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I think McMillan will have no problem with this guy.
Interesting.
Fucking New York gangster is going to piece up the Italian.
My only issue with McMillan is it seemed like the coaches that he brought with him and his team were like expecting him to win this fight, and like they sort of sold it to the commentators as well, as if like this guy's the next guy. So If he comes in and does something here special, then maybe. Because again, like Sam said, it was just a walk down in the second round. Wasn't anything significant.
Ethan Ewing, Rafael Estevam. Ewing 9-2, 6 KO wins. He lost his first 2 MMA fights in his whole career, and now he's won his last 9. So, his last fight was his UFC debut. He was a late replacement, and he had a decision win, a surprise win over a Malcolm Wellmaker. Wellmaker threw everything he had at this guy. This guy kept standing, kept coming after him. He was able to keep his composure and end up winning the fight. Estevam's 14-0. This guy hardly ever gets a fucking finish. He could be a problem for Ewing. He had a KO win on the Contender Series. He's 3-0 in the UFC, all decision over Charles Johnson and decent names. Jesus Aguilar, Felipe Bunes. I don't know. I would like to see Ewing put on a show and do something here, but I'm thinking Estevam's probably just going to drag him to the ground, hold him there.
You can make the argument when you see a guy, excuse me, when you see a guy come in and fight the way that Ewing did, that made us remember. There's something else to the man's story. He's hungry for a different reason than the average guy, I think. So that's where you get that, oh, fuck, he's an actual problem in his next fight. Because, again, the steps are different to some people when they first come into the UFC. It's like, I'm fighting a tough guy my first time because they do expect this because, again, like Sam said, these guys can come in with these padded records fighting basically zeros, but you're still the best guy of the zeros. You look fucking great to Mick Maynard. He's bringing you in.
Yeah.
And then come in the UFC, and then you actually pull off something like that where it's like, oh, we remember the name. He might come in here and put this guy away or have even more to prove. And I think he does. I think if he knows that, we're going to see a fun fight. Sometimes when I say things on this podcast, I feel like I'm reading a fucking script. I'm not. It's coming from the heart, guys. It's all I'm just saying. Speaking of which, coming from the heart, why does this guy have a tough name, but he chose to use 3 of them? You know what I mean? Abdul's not difficult, but why the extra shit? Why can't it just be Abdul Yakiev? Instead, he's like, oh, also Rockman. Put that in there. Make it harder.
Brinson. Why not put it Brinson? Brinson Ribiera.
Beautiful.
All right, yeah, this Abdul guy is from Turkey. He's only 25. This will be his UFC debut. He's 8-0. 7 finishes, 3 KO, 4 subs. He had a 30-second win on a Contender Series, then a 33-second win in his UFC debut. He's only been to the out of the first round twice. I think he's going to have his way with Ribiera, 17-9. The guy's been finished 7 times. He's lost 2 of his last. He's lost his last 2. He's lost 4 of his last 6. I think it's time for him to be let go, unless he's going to be Austin Lane. All right, that leads us to the co-main event. Verna Jandiroba, Tabitha Ricci. Jandiroba, she's 37, 22-4, 14 sub wins. She had a 5-fight win streak going until her last fight, where she lost a decision against Mackenzie Dern. So making her 0-2 versus Dern. So really no point in her even winning this. But Ricci, she's 12-3. She's won 3 of her last 4. She's coming off that TKO win over Amanda Ribas. But I'm not all that impressed with her. It's just, there is one thing that's she is good at, and she's hard to get down to the ground. So if she can keep this fight standing, she may be able to pull off decision win. Jandiroba, she is really good at getting your ass on the ground and beating you up on the ground. Ricci's hard to get down. She's only 5'1". I don't know. That's the only thing that's got me puzzled, man, or thinking in my brain, because honestly, I'm thinking Jandiroba's going to run right through her, and it's now looking like, oh, Ricci don't get taken down that often. So, yeah. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think Jandiroba's very tenacious. She's just going to be in your fucking face. I think against somebody that she might not have to take down, she might stand and just bang it out. I think that might be the fight we end up seeing, where we might see Ricci actually trying to stretch a takedown in there every once in a while, get desperate, and then Diroba can end up flipping her over and ending up on top, or what, you know what I mean? It could just get ugly. How hungry is Ricci? Does Diroba really want to get back there?
I know.
To Mackenzie Dern again?
Yeah.
Where you're going, that's the next step. And not that we don't want to see it, but it's like you have to show us that you've improved. Go in here and smash her. Give us a reason to make an argument. Like, okay, if that's what she's doing now, like a Casey O'Neill, it's like throw her in there against the best. I want to see her smash somebody else. Because that's what Verna was known for. She was, I'm gonna put you against the cage. You can punch me, do whatever you want, but eventually I'm gonna put you on your ass, and then you're gonna eat everything I have.
Yeah.
Very strong, very cardio friendly. Like no problem, never getting tired.
And she's 37, so time's running out on her.
Sure.
So, all right, Renato Moicano versus Chris Duncan. This is a tough one to call, man. Moicano, he's 20-7, 10 submission wins. He's lost his last 2 fights, but they were against like the top of the top. I mean, one was Islam, one was Benil Dariush.
Yeah, but let me add to that, Sam. Renato's done that multiple times, where he's fought like the top guys, lost, came back, fought the top guys again, lost again. Like, he keeps doing that. He's cycling through. That's why we're at Chris Duncan again.
Yeah.
Not again, but I'm saying Chris Duncan's like an up and comer. That's why Renato's fighting him. You're the guy now. You're the gatekeeper of the upper guys. That's where you're at now, Moicano. And I don't know why you have fans. You're not funny. He does a podcast too, bro, and I guarantee you we're better than them.
Yeah, guarantee you ranked
You're in
higher
this
than them.
league, buddy.
Ranked higher
Anyway.
than a fighter and a kid.
What exactly? What do you think, though? I think at this point, if Moicano doesn't just simply get beat down, the ground game is going to be a problem from both guys. I think Chris Duncan's strength alone is going to be a problem for Moicano. That in itself, that factor alone, whether it's punches or grappling, Moicano is going to be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, Moicano has been finished 5 times. It's just they're always like top level guys, like you said. He gets up to the top and then he has to come back down. So this is definitely a step up in competition for Chris Duncan, for sure.
Yep.
He's never seen a guy like this. I don't believe it. And I want to see how he handles this. I mean, he fought Terrence McKinney in his last fight and he choked him out. But I mean, that was Terrence McKinney. But I mean, Terrence McKinney didn't knock him out. I mean, he fucking got his ass, So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure the UFC they want Chris Duncan to win this thing, try to build him up a little bit, put in another fighter in the mix.
Chris Duncan reminds me of that heavyweight that we always he's like not a top guy, but he's a guy that's always dangerous. I can't think of his name, but they look sort of similar, just different sizes, of course. But he's right at that position where it's like if Duncan can go in there and crush him, do something super impressive, you can make an argument. Give him because the top guys right now in the lightweight division are aging out. You know what I mean? Now's your opportunity to get that on your record where you beat a 37-year-old Justin Gaethje. I guess maybe not Max Holloway. That dude's fucking been young forever. What is he, 30 now?
Yeah, and Duncan, I think he said this on the Contender Series. This guy was talking about how nothing's going to stop him from fighting. Like, when he had an amateur fight, his mom died during the weigh-ins, passed away, and he still fought the next day. So this guy's like, I'm built for this. Nothing will stop me.
Seeing here that he's Scottish, so, I mean, it makes sense. Like, get in there, buddy. But speaking of getting in there, go support the show. W.GG, promo code JUDGES. It's 10% off for energy drink in a packet, dude. You don't got to stop at that dingy gas station every morning to get your fucking Red Bull so you can get through this god-awful work day. Order it. Get a packet. Have it in your fucking purse. Your man purse, your fanny pack, whatever you got. Stuff it in the back of your wallet. You know what else in the back of your wallet? We all know. If you're rotten. We're talking about condoms, folks, and this is a rated R show. We're adults here. We can say those things. You ever heard of a condom? You should have. You taking a fucking health class? Creepy ass bitch. Anyways, not to get on a tangent. Speaking of tangents, you can find a lot of those at the Comedy Crawl Space on YouTube. Where I talk about, awesome fighters like Brendan Schaub, and that's basically it. He's really my favorite. But yeah, check it out. It's right on YouTube where this show is also located. Judges MMA at Judges MMA is where you can find the show. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at Don't Leave It to the Judges Pod, and Tectonic Cult for the music stuff, and the Crawl Space on Patreon. Va va boom.
see